just heard David Reynolds saying it's terrible as well. Got no grip. But look at Tander, another lunge down the inside. It was a shallow dive. It didn't really give him what he was looking for because it's made him slow on the exit as well. Murph?
Well, it's exciting for us, but Ryan Walkinshaw, you've lost all your fingernails. They're all gone, mate. A very nerve-wracking moment. You've got this Kiwi right behind one, and then you've got your other team car behind him. Very exciting.
Yeah, exciting is probably the wrong word for it. Absolutely terrifying at the moment, but look, we know we've got fast cars. JT's just got to keep it nice and clean and straight. It seems that Shane's struggling a little bit, getting it caught up in some of the hot air and nasty air behind the car, so that'll play into our favour. And if we can slow him down a little bit to get GT in the fight, then as we just saw then, hopefully GT can start making a bit of a nuisance of himself and start a three-way battle and keep JT in the lead.
Well, we know how much GT likes making a nuisance of himself, but he is the one sitting there primed, ready to pounce just in case, and he's certainly not out of winning this thing either.
No, he's not. You know, he hasn't won it for a few years. I'm sure it'll be top of his list of things he would like today. So, yeah, I don't know.
Another big move for the lead.
Let you get back to it.
Thanks, cheers.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Greg. Big move for the lead down at turn 9. Again, Van Gisbergen tries a shot down the inside, and again, it didn't totally come off. And Tander's right back in this too.
He looked like he had quite a slide guard through turn 8 last time around, so we'll watch that.
10 to go now, 10 to go.
Love some of the mine management chats over the radio at this point too.
They're all going to be skating home. Tyres have seen their best. And it's about somehow trying to get some consistency out of these tyres and cars now. Something to race with without taking it to the edge of a mistake, but they're absolutely wringing the necks of these cars in the closing stages of this motor race. Rick Kelly's still the leader, by the way, but he does have to come back in. He's got 18 seconds as a margin.
Need to confirm it too, but with that stop for Nick Percat a moment ago, I don't know whether he overshot the mark or whatever they had to get the car back, some sort of...
Yeah, and then they went to work on it, so I think there's some other issue there as well. So pretty equal distance between Courtney, between Van Gisbergen, and between Tander at the moment. And it's been a big recovery for Garth Tander. It was a great solid run inside the top 10 both races yesterday. Here's the race leader. Rick Kelly is now in. So for Tander, it was a 7th and a 4th for him yesterday to get good points on the board. They've continued to make ground with that car, and he's now well and truly in the battle for a spot on the podium here at the moment. So with Rick Kelly coming in and only taking a tiny little bit of fuel, he'll go out on fresh tyres. He'll be well and truly, we think, inside this top 10. It's quite a battle pack that's just come off the final corner, though, so he's going to end up mixed up at the back of these guys. There he is emerging on the back of James Moffat, and he'll split Tim Slade. Meantime, back up the front at turn 4. Courtney doing everything to try and produce clean, straight laps that don't involve sliding the car. And every one of those lunges that Shane Van Gisbergen has just takes a little bit more out of everything. A little bit more out of the brakes, a little bit more out of the tyres, and all of these guys are right on the ragged edge at the moment is the point.
You're following Marcus Ambrose, 15th at the moment. He was targeting a top half of the field finish if they could. Strong qualifying for him today, but this is the battle. Big, deep under brakes once again from the 97 of Shane Van Gisbergen. Tander's fallen back a little bit here relative to these two. James bounces off the curbs, up close to the wall through there.
It's a real pressure race for Courtney at the moment when you've got to try and drive the car at 11/10 constantly and then always dealing with the pressure that's being applied by Van Gisbergen. But how'd you like to be in the middle of this battle here? So, headed up by Jamie Whincup, Chaz Mostert, Mark Winterbottom, Fabian Coulthard. Nothing between them. Tander's just eased off a little bit here. And I just heard radio communication to Scott McLaughlin there as well, and they're asking him to turn the engine off in car number 33. So those alternator woes are bothering him in the background in the pit lane at the moment. Have a go at Whincup down the inside here of Chaz Mostert. Diagonal to the corner, pinched it in on the rear brake. Here it is on replay from Jamie's point of view. gear, nipped round the inside.
We talked about Tander there before relative to the two guys in front here. His last lap was 7/10 shy of the performance we saw from Van Gisbergen and from Courtney. Karras has the hands crossed. Alan Gow, manager of James Courtney, to the right of your screen there.
Rick Kelly's gone out, not surprisingly, with a lower fuel load and good quality tyres and a rubbered up track, and is very quick out there at the moment, position number 9. Bit of encouragement on the line there from Alistair McVeigh, James' engineer, always sliding perilously through turn 1-2 there.
Yeah, heartbreak for Nick Percat. He has a starter motor failure, so that his day is done.
I want to say that's the second one they've endured this weekend in that team too, Rihanna. And the one that failed earlier in the weekend was brand new. What a shame for the 222. I think we're on board with James when that happened. He went super close to the wall.
Well, that started back at the curb. See how he didn't actually get it turning. He nipped the brake, and then that just carted him wide. So that all happened a little further up the road, Murph.
Yeah, fellas, it just looks like James Courtney's just managed to be able to find that rhythm a little bit. But Shane Van Gisbergen has been pushing excessively hard with some amazing speed, but James has just managed to get away. But we just saw that little moment that he had at 11, which cost him some time. But the other thing I'm just waiting to see what happens is if Shane Van Gisbergen is just holding back a bit, giving himself a little bit of time, cooling those tyres off a fraction, he's going to have one last ditch effort at the 22.
It's actually 0.7 of a second. Just in this sector, it's come down to 0.6. It just keeps seesawing. It's opened up a little again between second and third. So Garth Tander is either just giving it all a rest for another attack, or the shot's being fired, and that's as much firepower as he's got at the moment. So the last lap for these guys, 22.1 for Courtney, 22.3 for Van Gisbergen, and 22.1 for Tander. So James and Garth are locked on the same speed. It's just a fraction slower for Shane.
Can he do it? Can he go back-to-back, James Courtney, at the Clipsal 500?
It's like Garth lost a little bit more ground in the background there a moment ago. Also lurking around there, seen occasional glimpses of the car, was I think it was Will Davison in the Erebus car in the background. And then here's the gap back to the next group, which is now headed by Jamie Whincup. This is one of the interesting things for Jamie, that when they don't quite have the firepower, he still racks up good solid points. There he is in the foreground at the moment. There'll be nothing wrong with walking away from here with a 4th placing. So 4th placing on the Sunday is still worth 120 points. And that's the aim of the game once they know they're not in a winning position. So that safety car and its arrival, and then the way in which the strategies were played, gave everybody something to think about here. Just encouraging James once again to be accurate and hit the marks. He just got a curb strike, and that's only his first. So it's late in the game now. He can afford a few of those.
Take a look at how things might shake out depending upon the outcome of this race. Provisionally, Courtney would be at the top from Tander. Coulthard, yesterday's race 2 winner, and Van Gisbergen, who you are riding with here right now in the Darrell Lee entry. But we're not done yet in this race. As Murph suggested, has Shane got a little something in reserve, just cooled off, let things regather.
Just want to watch and listen to Shane at work here at the moment and just see what he's got, and listen to the throttle coming off the corners. And he still looks like he's in reasonable shape. He's just got to find the right moment here. Let's just ride with him.
strike, still only one strike. Need 3 laps to go.
That applies to both drivers. 1 strike for curb hopping for both Courtney and for Van Gisbergen. Not much in it, is there, when you look at it? 1 or 2 occasions there were moments where I saw Shane just having to catch the car and sort of focusing now on what James is up to in his car, and they've both got gremlins here and there, and in other places their cars are very good for this late stage of the game.
Just trying to put this all in perspective for everybody at home, and these guys have been in these cars, these sweat boxes, for coming up to 2 hours. They've got their cool suits on, but the air temperature in there, Neil, as you would know, is excessive, probably in the vicinity 50, 60 degrees today, and they have been battling it out non-stop for that period of time. The concentration required to focus like those 2 guys at the front are doing, to punch out those laps and not give it away to each other. The concentration is just enormous, and they are both doing a good job, and they will not give up until the last lap is done.
At the peak of their powers, aren't they, these guys? They're super fit, they're in their race cars, and they're thinking about it day and night. And so it's just a video game for them at the moment. It's great to watch. Not much in it. Van Gisbergen, by the way, has just gone curb strike number 2. Back end of the race, he's going to dip into that bank, and that's probably a controlled strategy on his part. Gee, there's nothing in it once again. Van Gisbergen's going to have a huge lunge. He made a nice run through 8. He tries and tries and tries to sneak down the inside under brakes, but again his nose is chopped off.
Nail-biting stuff for James Courtney. No one has gone back-to-back at the Clipsal 500 since Jamie Whincup, 2008, 2009. The other person to do it, Marcus Ambrose, 2004 and 05. Could James Courtney join that group today?
Incidentally, Ambrose is 15th in the field at the moment. So there's 2 to go. It's the replay of what happened down at turn 9. It was another exploratory look, but it didn't quite work. Oh, that's curb strike number 3 now for Van Gisbergen. So he's gone rogue agent. He's decided to throw it across the top of the curbs now to see what can be achieved. So he's out of manoeuvres. He's got to try and do everything he can. James is looking solid in terms of concentration. He's resisting the pressure. I reckon there was a tiny, tiny edge in lap speed for Van Gisbergen, but the hot, disturbed air was doing him no favours. And now it's just going to be about real driver savvy. Tander has got no response, but it's been a wonderful job in recovery. He's going to get a podium on these numbers, and that's going to yield a big pile of points, and that's a great way to start the series, because yesterday he had a good run, 2 results in the top 10. No lunge this time at turn 9 for Van Gisbergen.
Stressed faces back inside the pit bunker. Jonathan Webb watching his man in the Darrell-Lee entry, the 2013 Clipsal 500 winner, the Kiwi Shane Van Gisbergen, battling last year's winner, hoping to go back-to-back. Courtney, lap car in front of them, the Super Black Racing entry. He's close here, he's close.
Really close. So this is going to stir the crowd along here.
Last lap, you got a hop to use.
So it was a love bite through the final corner. Van Gisbergen on Courtney. No curb hops for either of them. James got through there cleanly. Shane's going to have a very, very big go on this last lap. He may as well play all or nothing. Courtney's resisting the pressure. Tander is content. So the only way that this is likely to happen at the moment is most likely down at turn 9. And I don't know, looking at that margin at the moment, that he's going to be close enough, quite frankly.
We know he's a brave guy. We know that he's fast, Shane Van Gisbergen, but he's been showing some real smarts in his relatively recent racing. He's fast through turn 8. They're close to the wall, but Courtney seems to have the edge. Big, deep under brakes from the 97, but not as close as the previous time around. Options, time running out for Van Gisbergen here. The HRT crew maybe about to go back-to-back, close to the wall off the exit of 11. It's the run home. Crowd are on their feet. Shane, time I think has run out as they come through that final corner. James Courtney will go back-to-back at the Clipsal 500. He wins in 2015.
Awesome work.